all faded. Everybody, meet
Odysseus.
Asmodeus.
It's Odysseus.
I call him Asmodeus because he's a little devil dog. Devil dog. This is Asher's new puppy. He has cured him of ever wanting children. Oh, ever wanting children.
Jesus.
Crazy dog. Crazy. Okay, everybody. We are last time we did this was October 1st. So for now we're on a once a month schedule. Hopefully we do much better. We might be
October 1st?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm. But we have a little arrangement due to babysitting the dog, and so it looks like Mondays might be our new day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty regular. Okay, everybody, my hair's a little messed up. Sorry about that. So we just finished the last chapter, which was Harmony of the Spheres, and where we heard Sonia say, hey, you got a meeting down at the docks.
Yes, that was it.
Here we go. We're going into that. This is where we meet Julie. If you've read the book, you know what we're talking about. This is some great stuff. Julie becomes a main character for a long time. So here we go. Let's go meet her.
Sweet. This chapter is called Murder Me. If in hell I could hold one curl of your hair, I'd think the saints of heaven in torment. Rumi. I read this poem at your wedding.
You did?
Yeah. Remember you had give us kids
Mm-hmm.
poems that you liked? Still don't know what it means necessarily.
Oh, that's quick. So that means I'm so in love with you. Say it again.
If in hell I could hold one curl of your hair, I'd think the saints of heaven in torment. Okay.
It's like I love you so much that I'd go to hell for you. Ish. I don't know why it would torment.
No, I get it.
What the fuck does that mean? Seriously.
it.
No, I don't get it. Say that again.
If in hell
Hell.
I could hold, he's saying if he was in hell, if he could hold a curl of,
Hold one curl. You got to read it exactly.
if in hell I could hold one curl of your hair, I think the saints of heaven in torment.
My personal best friend. Lock of her hair, butter. Oh, fuck it.
I'm telling you what it is.
And what does it have to do with murder me?
Nothing.
Yes, it does.
No.
He doesn't just say shit for no reason.
Sometimes he does, though.
No.
Nope. He's saying, so I think I understand it and could explain it.
Really?
You okay?
Let's see. See Reddit. There's a Reddit on it. Jed Mckenna Spiritual Enlightenment.
It's funny.
This thread is archived. What does that mean?
Just means you can't interact with it anymore because it's so old. Anyway, just like saying from the perspective of if he was in hell and holding a curl of that person's hair, then he'd be like the saints of heaven, the people who are definitely in heaven. They're in torment compared to how happy I would be, even though he's in hell holding some of their hair. So it's like highest, it's like the most exaggerative expression of like love for another person, or like that like you could possibly. It's great, in a romantic way, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what that means in terms.
But I don't see how it necessarily.
A lot of people are wondering the same thing here on Reddit. Okay.
I do as I'm told. The next day, I make the 20-minute drive to Iowa City in my car with my bike attached to a carrier on back. I'm there by a little after 10, so I park a few blocks away from the campus and get the bikes and get the bike ready. Iowa City is a great place for riding, and the weather is cooperating admirably. Dark clouds are rolling in, and the distant thunder provides a rumbling promise of good things to come. It's Saturday, and the campus is quieter than the downtown area. So I go zipping merrily between and around the buildings that once housed the state's government before it was bundled off to Des Moines, at which time the university acquired the old Capitol buildings and grounds. There are a few students dozing and reading on the grass, a few basketball games in progress, but the gray skies and approaching weather seem to be keeping most people inside, so I have wide sidewalks and mostly clear sailing. After a grand time careening along the sidewalks of higher education with only one close call involving an inline skater and a frisbee chasing dog, I note that it's 2 minutes to 11, so I turn down a steep path that plummets me headlong into the river valley, where I barely make a right in time to stay dry and follow the river walk for a quarter mile to a pedestrian bridge that I shoot across at a heavy clip, followed by a series of hard lefts and some even harder braking to stop on the boat ramp. Some even harder braking to stop on the boat ramp with my front tire in the drink. I am at the boathouse, and it's 11 on the button. Right on time, Julie points out. Punctuality is the politeness of kings. Politeness of kings is my middle name, I reply. You're lying. Only by omission. My full name is Jed, Hope of Nations, theme for poets, Politeness of Kings Mckenna. My mother thought auspicious naming might make me turn out well. And has it? Too soon to tell. You probably shouldn't lie to me, you know. I would never lie to you.
I wouldn't.
Really? No, not really. So you would lie to me. You're dancing around the edges of an interesting subject. Oh, and how would I cut to the heart? Just max out the question. Instead of asking if I'd fib to you or steal your recipe for sherry flambe, would you murder me? Exactly. Okay, would you murder me? Sure. Under what circumstances? Under what circumstances dictate that I should murder you? Oh, under whatever circumstances dictate that I should murder you. Of course. But see, here we are digressing into a light treatment of right action theory when we have yet to properly intro. Oh, you're Julie. Yes. We met out at the house. Yes. I've seen you there several times. I've been there 5 or 6 times, twice for the whole day. Did Sonea put you to work? Oh yeah. One day we tore apart the kitchen and cleaned it down to the floorboards. One day I spent in the potting room in the basement preparing seedling starts. That's very interesting. Is it? Yeah. I didn't know we had a potting room. I'll have to look into that. Really? No, not really. I'm lying again. You do that a lot. I just want to get it out of my system before the interview begins. Then you're not as punctual as you think because the interview started about 20 lines of snappy dialogue ago. Oh. The boathouse is a long unused stone cabin between the river walk and the river. On the river side of the building is a covered porch and a concrete ramp that leads into the water. The boathouse has sat empty and locked up for years and is falling into disrepair. But it's one of the 3 best places to watch a storm in Iowa City. Julie is pretty slender and tall, with long light brown hair and an easy way about her that I'm sure has coaxed intimacies from many an unguarded interviewee. She asks if she can call me Jed, and I say she can. She clips the small microphone to my shirt and plugs it into the micro cassette recorder that I'll carry in my pocket. Throughout the interview, Julie will lean towards me and speak into my neck whenever she asks a question. I walk the bike around to the covered porch, and set it against the building. I gesture for Julie to take a seat on the porch's low enclosing wall and sit down next to her. So what were you doing out at the house? Talking to people about you? Learn anything interesting? Sonea had some amusing anecdotes to share. Sonea is a chronic liar. I'm afraid I have no respect for your journalistic instincts if you were unable to see that. Sonea could no more tell a lie than I could drink this river. Actually, she could. In fact, I bet she could murder you too. There's a story about Lord Krishna and his wives or consorts or whatever they are. You don't sound like you really know the story. Well, I'm not a Hindu and I don't use parables much, so you'll have to bear with me. So Krishna gets this headache, and the only way he can get rid of it, he can get any relief, is to put pressure on it. So he asks each of these highly devoted females of his to stand on his head to relieve the pain. But they are shocked at the very idea. They think it's a test and that they would spend an eternity in hell if their feet touched the Lord's head. So they all turn him down, except for the last one, whose name may or may not be Radha. Radha? R-A-D-H-A. If you use this, I hope you'll have your fact checkers make me look good, or at least that you won't let me offend a billion Hindus. My readership is something under 1 billion. So Radha agrees to do it, and all the other women are absolutely shocked that she would be so evil as to place her feet on the Lord's head, a mortal sin of the most grievous nature. And Radha tells them simply that she would be pleased to spend eternity in hell to bring her Lord a moment's comfort.
So it's like
Okay. So it's the quote. It's like that level of devotion to the universe, not to a woman, but like the woman that is divine feminine in the universe.
Hey, Jed.
I think we just got that.
Jed, you or someone else asked some pretty snappy quote connections to find that Rumi quote and connect it to this.
Yeah.
If you're the one who came up with that, Jed, good job.
It was a good one. I'll start this. And Radha tells them simply that she would be pleased to spend an eternity in hell to bring her Lord a moment's comfort. Oh, shit. Yeah. So Sanaya, perfect devotion. That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Yep. That's what I have. That's what I have to put up with. You don't mean she, are you saying for you? Whoa, no, Krishna. It's all about Krishna.
No.
She got me like a fish if she thought it would tickle him. Nonsense. I won't print that. Okay. The storm is on top of us now, but the rain hasn't started yet. Lightning can be seen to our left, and the thunder seems to be clapping down on us from directly above. Then, as we watch, a curtain of water comes traveling down the river towards us, and in a second we are within the downpour and can watch to our right as the leading edge of the rain proceeds away from us. The other good storm watching sites in town are both much higher up and afford a much grander view, but being tucked away cozy and dry on the boathouse porch overlooking the river with a pleasant young lady is very heaven. I spoke to several of your students too, says Julie. I assume they all spoke of me in the most glowing terms. Actually, they did, although quite a few have never spoken to you. Yeah, I don't pretend to understand a lot of what goes on out there. People come out for their own reasons. I know everything is going exactly as it should. I just don't know how or why. She consults her notes and comes up with the next question, probably meant as an icebreaker. What's your most embarrassing moment as a teacher? Or don't you have one? Well, I had a guy once who was totally stuck in the mud. Nowhere close to anything interesting, just wallowing in the details of his life. Family problems, money problems, health problems, and so forth. Couldn't get out of it. Couldn't get above it. I wanted to encourage him to try to adopt a larger overview, a broader context within which to view his existence. So I told him to pretend that he just found out that he was going to die tomorrow, and then look at all these problems in that light. That sounds very effective. I could see where that might put someone's day-to-day concerns into perspective. Yeah, I responded somewhat sheepishly. So could Billy Jack. She burst into laughter. Really? You got it from a Billy Jack movie? Yeah, I saw it when I was like 10, and the thing about dying tomorrow was probably my first profoundly moving insight. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the advice, but I regretted it as soon as I said it. I was afraid to be exposed as a fraud who just went around repeating kung fu movie wisdom. I don't know what Billy Jack is.
No, I looked it up once in my, right? It's a kung fu movie. Yeah,
1971.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking old. What was your second profoundly moving insight? I don't know. Probably the cogito. Is it cogito? Is that how you pronounce it? Cogito?
What? You read the books?
Shit. I did. I listened to the audiobooks.
Cogito. Well, I'm going to say ergo sum.
Pronunciation.
I'm going to say that. Pronunciation in English.
Hey, press the sound button. Sound.
Oh.
Nope. Other one.
Oh, I turned this down. Fuck.
Cogito ergo sum.
Cogito.
Okay, let's.
Cogito.
Cogito ergo sum.
Cogito.
Cogito.
Okay. And say
Hey man, is this the best show ever? Yeah!
I'm gonna say cogito. Anyway.
Cogito. Ergo. Cogito.
Cogito ergo sum. I spent a lot of time with that one. Years, really.
You lost your place?
You're doing stuff, and so I was reading, looked up to see what you're doing, looked back, and did not. Stop doing things. I spent a lot of time with that one. Years, really. If a tree falls in the forest and all that. All what? You mean the Zen koan? If a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to hear it, does it make a noise? That's the one. What does that have to do with I think, therefore I am? Well, they're basically the same solipsistic thing. If the tree in the forest thing isn't a koan, the tree in the forest thing isn't a koan because it has a very specific answer, which is yes. Oh, well, I'm sure 100 generations of our best thinkers will be grateful. I laugh. The answer is yes because the question says so. The question establishes that the tree and the forest exist without being seen, so it naturally follows that any sounds would exist without being heard. It sounds more like you found a loophole in the question, more like a wormhole into the deeper question. What do we know for sure? That's the real question. That's what the cogito is. That's what solipsism is. This isn't theory. This isn't belief or faith. This is the basic fact of existence. It's all about figuring out exactly what we know for certain as opposed to everything else. It's truly amazing that something so glaringly obvious and irrefutable is so universally ignored by science and philosophy and religion. And that is that we don't know anything, can't know anything. Can you define anything? Solipsism is defined as the belief that the only thing you can know for sure is that you exist, and that any other true knowledge is impossible. But, like I say, it's not really a belief, it's just the way it is. So I know I'm sitting here, but no, you know that you are. Body, planet, space, time, people, everything else is taken on faith. So I'm not sitting here. No, you don't know that either. All this doesn't mean that what seems to be isn't, just that it isn't, that it's unverifiable.
So I think that's an interesting part.
He's kind of approaching this from like the backside of which he approaches it later.
The problem with that is that because, and this is the thing that I've definitely had some issues with, is that he's like, so the only thing I can know is true is that someone is seeing something, consciousness. We talk about that more in the next, the fourth book, Theory of Everything. And therefore, nothing else exists and isn't false. It's just false. It's false. It's false. It doesn't believe. It's illusion, illusion, illusion. And here he's going, well, no, you don't know it's illusion. You can't know. He's a little bit of a contradictory bastard bitch here.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
This is kind of a little bit more of a balanced.
Yeah, it's a more balanced. Which really,
perspective.
There's a really power in knowing your consciousness, but there's also consciousness as someone seeing something. So something is part of the program. And so there was a time when I misunderstood Jed and was waiting to see, that one. Waiting to go, this is an illusion. It's not an illusion. No one exists. No one exists. Well, they do exist. We're dreaming. They exist. They're not truth. Oh God, Jed. They're not truth. But they're still there.
Yeah, I wish I could understand the difference between existence and truth.
Well, truth is consciousness. Like David Day even teaches about that, the arising consciousness. The only thing that is. Remember, like, put your hands out and see the four? Like, what the space that consciousness arises in. Are you aware that you're aware? Right now, you're aware of me. And you're putting your focus on me, but you're aware that you're also aware. That's consciousness. That's never changed. It's always just there. It's this thing. That's what Jed's talking about. But he has this problem that because consciousness is the only truth, he went to war with this, me, you, his body, the whole thing. in a hate-filled 2-year spree of madness.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't prove the table was true, he attacked it and destroyed every emotional attachment. It's not so much that he destroyed the table, it's that he destroyed
his attachment
his
to the
attachment
table
to the table.
Yeah.
So he went on a massive, massive house cleaning project of his attachments.
It was a house burning down project, really.
Yeah. Anything that he attached to. He used truth as his burning thing. Other people use other things. They just don't want to be attached.
Yeah.
They want ultimate freedom. But he used truth as his thing. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Yeah.
It's interesting that that's not like necessarily maybe
We don't have a lot of time,
shit.
so we're gonna stop. But let me say one thing I learned today, right? Real quick.
Page
I've listened.
123.
Yeah, bend that over. I've been reading a lot and studying a lot of Esther Abraham Hicks, which Jed suggests a little bit later. We'll teach you how to get to the fourth stage, to the integrated state, yada, yada, yada. When people are being trained by Esther to manifest the lives they want, that Jed talks about, being a human adult, one of the problems that they have is their immense amount of human baggage that they have to work through. They've just been thinking negative for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and it just takes time to undo it. Why Jed is a genius manifester is he killed that motherfucker. So he just goes and thinks positive all the time. He has no use for thought in a negative way. He's just always manifesting thought. That's why he says, and he's going to say it a little bit coming up when he comes back from this trip, he's got to be careful what he thinks because it just fucking manifests because he doesn't have his attachments and negativity. The rest of
they're not blocking things.
Yeah,
So
there's
if
no
he
resistance.
thinks like, it'd be pretty cool if there was whatever, then it could just like actually exist.
Everybody, we unfortunately had a hard deadline. It's not that we don't want to keep reading. Maybe we'll be able to get back to this earlier than next Monday. If not, it'll be next Monday at 6 to 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to reach out to us and ask us questions and make comments.
Bye.